Hello, welcome. How are you? And you look great.
I feel great.
Yeah, you look great.
Thank you.
Okay, how are you doing? You good?
Yeah, feeling good. Just finished up PT, so really
coming up to interview.
Exactly.
Okay, how did you decide to have the surgery?
So I always wanted to be taller, and unfortunately there's nothing that you can do naturally to get taller, and you can just accept your lot in life that you're going to be of your set height, but I preferred that, just like with a lot of stuff in life, you can change it. I thought this is, for like the first time in history, if you're not happy with the height that you have, you can go through some effort, some money, some time, and obviously some pain, but you come out of it at the end and you're taller.
And one-time thing.
A one-time thing, and then for the entire rest of your life, decades and decades, you get to keep that and benefit from the height.
You had tibia limblengthening surgery with us 9 months ago. How was your recovery process before your femoral lengthening surgery?
It was pretty good. I had a fair amount of pain for the first month, but then it subsided and there wasn't any. I did get pretty bad ballerina feet, so I had to have what's called an Achilles release surgery, where they give some slack in the tendons and that lets the calf stretch out. But now I feel fine, and before the femur surgery I was able to walk totally normally, up and down stairs, everything like that. So pretty full recovery.
Okay, were you able to return to your normal activities and sports?
I didn't start doing sports because I didn't want to risk any problems with the bone by running and jumping, especially knowing that I was going to do femurs anyway. It was going to reset me back to square one, so there wasn't a need to rush.
Which method did you choose, Lon or Precise 2, and why?
So as you can see, for femurs, I've got the Lon device on, and as you can see on my shins, you can see the scars also from Lon. The real primary reason is just the cost is about half the price. So across the two surgeries, that's like up around $40,000 or so, which was not worth spending for the sake of some slight extra convenience. Also, Lon has the benefit of being weight bearing, which means that you can put a little more force into your stretching. If I want to stand up, I can stand up, which you can't do with Precise.
How was your surgery and hospitalization process?
Surgery didn't have any problems. Hospitalization was cool as well, so both times I was in the hospital for about 10 days. AFA provides a caretaker who is really helpful for sorting out your daily needs and everything like that. Very well cared for in the hospital, so no complaints.
Okay, can you tell us a little about the pain issue?
So for tibias, as I said, over the first month, about 5 weeks, I basically had pretty constant pain throughout the tibia bone. It felt like I'd had the bone hit with a hammer, and especially at night when you're trying to sleep. It did eventually just go away though, so like I said, after that 5 weeks, the pain just subsided, and actually after that stage, there was no pain of any kind whatsoever. The pain I'm experiencing now with femurs, I don't really have any bone pain, which is a major relief, and it makes sleeping a lot easier. I do just get a sore glutes from the fact they've atrophied a lot, and then if I'm sitting, it's basically the bone just pressing against my skin, and my back gets pretty sore because you can't really lay on your side or move around too much. But other than that, there's not a huge amount of pain.
Okay, about your first surgery, when did your pain disappear?
So after around 5 weeks.
After around 5 weeks, okay, I see. How was your general process after the surgery?
So I started physiotherapy while in the hospital, very light with the caretaker, just doing some basic exercises. Then it really picks up with AFA when you're discharged, and you do the physiotherapy 5 times a week for 2 hours every session. Walking, I have a walker both times and use that as much as possible. And then in terms of nutrition, just eating as much as you can, trying to be healthy, but also just making sure AFA provides a bunch of supplements, so taking those supplements to make sure you got all your vitamins too.
Okay, one of the biggest risks in the Lon method is infection. Have you ever been infected?
Never had any infection problems.
Are you satisfied with the dressing and sterilization?
Yeah, I've never had a problem.
Have there been any complications so far?
Nothing major. The only thing I can think of that somewhat fits that is the ballerina feet that I got when I did my tibias, and of course I'm still in the first stages of my femur lengthening, so we'll have to see if any complications do arise.
How is your bone healing?
Good so far. For the tibia, because I had the surgery almost a year ago, so of course you would expect that that's pretty much fully healed now, and actually the x-rays have shown it's pretty fully healed. I do have fairly slow bone consolidation, though it took quite, but it doesn't bother me. So So actually with LON, some people choose precise instead of LON to avoid the scars, but I'm totally indifferent to the scars, so I'm not bothered.
Did you have trouble with the fixator during the lengthening period? How was your walk?
Fixator never had any problems. Walking for me was always kind of painful, and even now when I walk, when I put pressure on and off the bone, same with the tibias and with the femurs now, it is a strange sensation. It is quite painful. It's like a slight stabbing sensation in the bone. It gets better as I lengthen though. So with the tibias, I remember trying to walk about when I was discharged from the hospital, and it was too painful for me to try. It was really, really severe. But then after a couple months, I could walk around with the walker fine, and I never had any problems. And that's happening with the femurs as well. It's getting easier.
Easier, all right, all right. Were you able to get your work done online during the lengthening period, or were you able to continue your work?
I've been really fortunate that my employer has been very supportive of work from home, so I'm just able to work remotely all the time.
As someone who has undergone lengthening surgery for the second time, what would you recommend to those who want to have this surgery?
Make sure you're mentally prepared for the difficulties being disability for a period of several months, general discomfort, even if you don't have pain. These fixators, for example, are very uncomfortable to wear and have all the time. Sleeping is very interrupted. Even if you don't have pain, I wake up every hour to hour and a half when I'm sleeping just from general discomfort. Also, just be aware it takes a long time to recover. You will not be back to your regular life, depending on your genetics and individual factors. But for me, it took a long time for me to be able to get back to normal, which I did eventually, but just be ready for that.
Why did you choose the AFA, and what do you think about Dr. Mustafa Uysal?
Chose to come back to AFA to do my femur surgery after the experience using AFA for tibias indicates I had a really positive experience with AFA. I have a very positive opinion of them. The level of care that they provide is really great. The physiotherapy is very strong, great communication, so I saw no reason for me to switch and go somewhere else. And of course I chose AFA in the first place because I thought they were the best choice. They're also, I think, one of the more responsible clinics. Some of the other clinics talk about lengthening your femurs by 10 centimeters, your tibias by 8. AFA has always been very strict that there's a hard limit on both. And when you're talking about pretty extreme medical surgery, it's good to be with a clinic that's responsible and takes that seriously.
Of course, that's right. What would you recommend to those who want to have this surgery?
So similar to what I said before about mentally preparing yourself, that's the main advice I would have. Mentally prepare yourself to be disabled, mentally prepare yourself to be in a lot of pain for a few weeks, discomfort for the entire lengthening period, and the slow recovery time is a possibility. Some people recover faster, but just prepare yourself for that. But obviously I've chosen to do it because, like I said at the very beginning, I think all of that is short-term trade-off for the rest of your life being, I mean, my goal is to be like 13, 14 centimeters taller, so like over 5 inches taller.
I see. All right, that was it. My questions is over.
Great, perfect.
Thank you for coming here and taking your time.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
It's a pleasure.
All right, see you later.
See you next time.
Okay, if you have questions that you want to ask our patients who have had surgery, leave a comment under the video and let's ask those who have gone through this process. If you want to discover the taller you can reach us and get answers to all your questions. Goodbye. See you next time.